Hello, hello, good people. Welcome to Sword and Shield Studio live stream number 2. It's the second weekly live stream I've done, so welcome to the start of it today. So last week I was playing around with creating a lower third preset and kind of hit some snags that I discovered a little workaround for. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'll share my results there. But other than that, today I just thought I would explore a little bit of the different particle nodes and the Fusion tab. See what they do, see some interesting different effects we can get with them, and possibly emulate some real life effects like smoke or fire, things like that. So I'm going to bring up my screen, my Resolve screen now, and get right into it. And that is right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in some particles. Really is the first particle effect I ever made. I haven't had much experience messing with the particles within Fusion, honestly. That's why I'm doing this stream, just kind of a little discovery of the feature. I've got on my desktop a little ember particle effect that I made. And I have to put that into a render 3D node, of course. What am I missing here? Camera 3D. I always forget all the different nodes required for the 3D scene. Okay. Okay, so what this, I forget, it starts out kind of subtle. But what I created, just by modifying a P emitter node, I created an ember effect. Should probably merge this with a background node so it's more visible. And I believe the particle emitter is out of the range of my camera here, so I have to move my camera back. There we go. Now it's starting to show up. So this is just a very subtle little ember effect I created using nothing but a P emitter node and a P render node, and just changing the settings till I got something that looked decent. Now there's probably a few ways I could make this look more realistic or alter it to look even better. So let's explore some ways we can do that. So actually, I've got the color over life for these particles changing over the course of from when they first appear in the emitter to when they die, going from very light orange to darker and then back to light again as they die towards the top. And then I have the size over the life of the particle going down as it progresses, which is kind of like if you imagine how an ember works. That's, you know, you'd think that's how it would work. But I want to do more than that. So let's explore the different particle nodes that we've got, see what we can do with this. Let's see, we've got P change style, which I believe you can define like a region of influence, and the particles within that region of influence will change from one style of particle to another. So if you want it to be an n-gon and then turn into a blob, or from a blob to an image particle, then you can do that with the P change style. P custom force. Boy, there is a lot. P merge, P point force. This probably be easier to look within the effects library under particle. Okay. So let's see what we can do with P vortex to give this. From what I understand, P vortex is kind of like, I mean, it's what you would imagine a vortex to be. It's an area of influence that has a certain influence over the particles. I'm actually going to ungroup this so it's easier to work with. Okay. So we've got the vortex here. I've inserted the vortex and it's, as you can see, it's already having an effect on the particles. Let's see if I can line it up about with the center of the camera. I really got to move up the emitter too. I can see more clearly what's going on. Okay. Let's get P vortex. Move it up. And that's kind of cool. Kind of has causes a little swirling effect. But really, if you think of how if you think of how actual embers would work, it wouldn't be quite that swirly. Well, I think we'd be better served to see how each of these nodes kind of affects like a really generic stream of particles before we get into using it in a more complex effect. So I'm going to create a new fusion composition and keep it at 24 frames per second, and I'll make the duration 20 seconds just so we've got a good sample size. I'll open that by double clicking it, and then I will bring in a P emitter into a P render into a render 3D and connect the render 3D to media out. There's a lot of nodes. Of course, I need to connect a camera 3D. And merge 3D. Connect the camera 3D to the merge 3D. And so I've got my render view on the left and my merge 3D on the right. And I'm going to merge my render 3D with a background node just so I can see what is going on. Okay. All right, so we've just got now our basic particle emitter, which creates within the bounds of the emitter just some plain old particles that appear over time, and then some die off and others appear. So if we want to create a realistic smoke effect, how would we do that? Well, first off, we would need to have the particles have some sort of motion, because these are just stationary dots. We would need the particles themselves to look more smoke-like and not be these pixel dots that they are right now. And then we would need to introduce some sort of randomized movement going up to give the illusion that this is really smoke, because smoke in reality is highly randomized, and these effects in fusion are very good at producing predictable results, and we as the humans interfacing with these tools have to figure out ways to introduce randomization. And a lot of people do that with math, but I'm not too great with math, so I tend to just play around with the tools until I find something that's right. Educated guess, of course, knowing what each of these tools does, how they affect the image. So let's see what we can do. So I'm going to open my particle emitter node here. And I'm going to go to the style, and instead of point, which is what these little dots are, pixel thin dots are the point style, I'm going to make them a blob. Now that's odd. I don't know why I'm getting these artifacts along the edges of the blob. Line looks okay. Yeah, the line seems okay. Okay. That's really weird. Is my camera still pointed at it? Okay. Yeah. What happens if I change the P emitter back to point? Okay, it appears again in my merge node. Point cluster. And gone. Appears okay. Actually, I'm not sure. That may still be the point cluster. Let's find out. These rough edges. Wonder what that is. It doesn't look like it should be that way. Really weird. I'm not sure why that is. Yeah, no. Don't really know what's going on with the... That is really strange. Why I'm getting that little jagged edge along these particles here. Wonder if it has to do with the color depth of my composition. Let's figure it out. 10-bit depth. Huh. No, it's gotta be. It's really odd, because when you look at it in the, maybe it's just a preview image, like it's just a proxy, because when you look at it in the merge, it looks fine. The edges are all soft and everything's good. So maybe there's nothing to worry about here. Anyways, so I'm trying to create a smoke effect here. Just started on it. I'm gonna experiment with using P vortex or P turbulence nodes to try and introduce some randomized movement to these smoke particles. But first I need to adjust the emitter. And I think it would be best to make the emitter see. Soft circular. Okay, right now it's regular circular. Probably want it to be soft circular. I don't know, blob probably work better depending on how it looks in our merge here. Just gotta give it a minute. I want to change the playback resolution so this goes faster, but I also don't want Fusion to crash. It happens. It really does. Okay. Let's just go with our preview view here. It might look a bit crappy, but at least we're able to see it in real time. Hello? You exit out of the Fusion page really quick. And go back. Actually, I'm going to create a timeline out of this. See if that... Okay. Let's view something on our screen here. Merge 3D. Come on now. Oh, shoot. I think I crashed. Yep, I crashed Fusion. One moment. Just gonna bring up Fusion again. I'm gonna create a new project and actually properly set up my proxy media and everything, so this is a bit more optimized. The joys of 3D compositing in Fusion, right? Okay. Well, I opened the project I had. Okay. Let's do smart cache. Half resolution. Should be good now. Okay. So that's a bit weird. These little lines here. Not sure what that's about. Doesn't look much like smoke right now, does it? All right. So right now we just have all the particles appearing in one spot. There's no sort of motion going on with them. And then I got my camera 3D pointed directly at them. So that's where we are so far. So first thing, I'm going to take my P emitter, my particle emitter, and I'm going to increase the velocity. And you'll see it's going to the right. It's because I have to change that, but okay, I think that's a good starting out point. I'll probably have to make some tweaks to that. Oh, excuse me, I need to get back on my tutorial screen. So we got some smoke here. It's going to the right. I've adjusted my velocity setting here. And this is not exactly what we want. First thing, we need to rotate. There we go. We change the angle 90, so it's going up relative to our camera here. Let's see if I can pull up a preview. Alright, so we got some weird lines going on in the particles. That may just be due to the number that we have. Since these are large blobs, could probably do with a few less. Now, see, there's still a line there. If I adjust the alpha, it's still there. Does it appear at all? That is odd. What happens if I change the... Oh, you can really see it with the line. Sphere, it is still there. I don't know what that line is about. Well, let's try to get the effect we're going for and not worry about the line for the lines in the image for now. So right now it's a pretty thin column of smoke. Don't really know if that's... Don't really want that. Not the size of the particles. I meant to adjust the region size. Let's pull this down. In our style, I'm going to go to color over life, and these are kind of like gradient controls. I'm just going to make the middle portion kind of a darker mid-tone gray. Beginning I'll make even slightly darker than that. Oh, not that dark. Maybe I have to tune up the middle portion to be a bit lighter, and then I will end in white. Maybe I'll bring back down the size of the region just so I can see everything going on. Okay, I mean it's far from there, but it's getting there. So now we can increase the size of the So when you think of smoke, it kind of billows up and then vanishes. So maybe our size over life and get a bit bigger as it approaches the end here. It starts out smaller. And I'll just adjust my handles so it's more of a smooth curve to that point. As it stands right now, I'm going to move this further away from the camera so we can see it better. And then I'll move it down. Okay, yeah. See that white up top? It's way too intense. So I'm gonna make that another mid-tone gray. Just add some variance here. I'm actually gonna grab a reference image really quick of some smoke. Do a quick search. See what we're working with. Don't really want an extremely dark smoke, just kind of a gray, grayish, billowing smoke effect. Okay. I found one that's kind of close to what I'm going for. So I'll go in my media pool, Control I, to import it. And okay, so this is kind of what I would like to go for, just kind of a gentle billowing smoke that maybe gets whipped up a bit at the top of the column here and dissipates into nothing. So maybe I'll go into my inspector and grab some of these grays. With the eyedropper. And let us see. Okay, it's a start. As it stands right now, we could see where the particles are appearing. Let's introduce some size variance in our size controls setting here. I'm going to add a couple more points on the color over life just to give it more contrast. I didn't want to go that deep. Make that one a bit brighter. Not quite that bright. I know, it's a lot of finicky playing around with the settings. Really don't want much of a difference at all, really. Just a little bit of contrast. Okay, now that we've got some blobs going up, let's introduce some randomness to the movement. To do that, go going to increase the velocity variance. Let's see what that does. I'm gonna put it on my merge, even though it's got these weird lines, we can see what's going on. Still looks very blobbish, not very smoke-like yet. That's really odd, those little rings that appear. It's not the apply mode. In fact, it appears in the render as well. Actually, it's okay. Huh. That is bizarre. Okay, well, if anyone knows what these artifacts I'm getting in these particles are, please let me know in the chat, because that would be good information to pass on to other people, like what is going on here. In any case, I'm going to act like they're not there and continue on with our effect here. I'm going to decrease the lifespan so that our smoke it's just to the top of the frame before it disappears. And like everything, I'm going to introduce a little bit of variance. And we're still looking weird. Yeah, it's like these little circles that appear. That's bizarre. I mean, it could be a cool effect for some things, but when you don't want it, it's really odd. Don't like it. Yeah, no, when I change the color and everything, it's still there. Okay, so going back to our reference image here, we need some noise. So I'm going to mask our rendered particles with a new plugin I just installed called Turbulent Noise. And let's make that smoke. Ah. There we go. Mean to mask the render 3D with it. No. That is kind of still looks a bit funky. I'm gonna right click the keyframe next to the rotation element of this noise layer I've got. And I am going to, which expression do I want here? Let's see what we get with the wave modifier. With the sine wave. Okay, actually before I do any kind of expressions, ooh, excuse me. Just gonna make the color of the smoke a bit lighter so it appears better with this noise over it. Really, I want the noise to translate up as the smoke goes up. Let's make the size of these particles bigger so it's more of a cohesive cloud of smoke. Let's see how it's moving. That's looking better. Still looks a bit weird. It looks like there's just clouds appearing and they're disappearing and wobbling. We want to give it more the illusion that it's flowing up from a source. And like I said, in order to do that, we need to Yeah. We just need to have the center Y value go up over the course of the animation, which I could do with an expression. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna keep this simple for now and just without an expression, animate the Y value of the center of our noise. And just bring it up. That's looking better. I think it needs to go up a bit faster to match how these clouds are appearing. So I am going to go to the very end of my composition here. I didn't even make a keyframe at the end. Okay. I'm going to go to the very end of my composition and bring that up like so. I might even bring it up more so it rises quicker. And then I'm going to go into my spline editor, go to the displacement effects and just smooth that motion out. Makes it more natural. I'll close that. And actually, let's see how it looks. It's looking a bit clipped in some spots, a bit funky. I would like it to be a bit larger near the top and a bit smaller near the bottom. Yeah, when we can see this in real time on on the edit page timeline, it looks it's a bit too much going on. It's a bit too quick. So, in order to fix that, I'll have to turn down the seethe rate. I'm just going to turn everything down by half. Turn down the brightness a bit where things were clipping. Maybe turn down the contrast a smidge. Bring the brightness back up a bit. This turbulent noise plugin, by the way, someone just shared it with me in another Discord. Sorry, I gotta look around here. But I'll share with you this. That's the turbulent noise plugin I'm using right now to get the randomized noise for this smoke relatively quick and easy. And it's totally free, so check that out. Of course, you know, donate to the creator if you can. So I'm going to make the noise translate up a bit slower. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to create a compound clip and render this in place. Just so we can get a preview of the whole thing. Now I do know I want to add more size variance, make it billow up more at the top and be a bit smaller at the bottom. Oh, hey Simon. You can use the turbulent noise as a bitmap for the particles. Do you think that would be more optimized than what I'm doing right now? I know it might I might get rid of my issue here with these little lines I'm having. Maybe you know something about that, but I've got, as soon as I set this up prior to introducing the noise or the turbulent noise or anything else, I got these lines that are showing up over the course of the animation, little circles, and it looks like it's the outline of the blob particles. It's really strange. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some issues with it actually, and I never found I tried looking on the Blackmagic forums and going searching online, but I've never gotten a definitive answer for like why. I'll show you when I go. I gotta remove that compound clip. But when I go to even the particle render, I don't know if this is how it appears for you too, but I get these rough edges around my particles. Like every single one of them. And I thought it was just like a preview resolution for the particles. But when I go to render, it looks, it looks smoother, but then those lines appear. Really strange. But it's all, it seems like it's some sort of masking, something to do with the apply mode or the color range or like the masking of the individual particle that's causing like the alpha channel is messed up somehow. Don't really know how else to explain it. But of course when I use points, that's fine. Blob is weird. Everything other than point or line, it seems, has that Ngon. Same thing. Get the lines. It's weird. But I am going to try to do what you said. First off, I'm going to save what I got here. Make a new fusion composition. That's not the one. That's an older one. Why is this? Okay. I'll check that out. Because apparently I library templates theme. Be under computer is not having it today. Oh, I think I crashed Fusion. One moment. That's Fusion for you. Oh boy. One moment, I'm gonna pull it back up. All right. Well, hey, Simon, I saw you hit 200 subscribers on the channel. That's pretty awesome, man. Congrats on that. I'm at a similar number with my own, so I understand that's a big deal. Hopefully just the beginning. All right. Okay. So I think it pulled up an older... Under particles, we'll take a look at this theme, kind of pick it apart, and see how it works. Okay, so we got fast noise plugged into brightness contrast node, plugged into the P emitter with a rectangle mask. Oh, I see. So what does the rectangle mask do here? Get rid of all this stuff. Oh, I see. That's just the area of influence for the brightness contrast. Okay. That's in the emitter bitmap. Okay. So I just have to put in a brightness contrast. Do the turbulent noise. And let me unplug. Oh, shoot. Whoa. It's because I need to set particle birth time. Now that's weird. It looks like, this looks like some Minecraft smoke that we've got here, or some Pablo Picasso smoke. All right, Simon, have yourself a good evening. Thank you for coming by and watching the stream, hanging out for a bit. I'll see you around the Discord and see you around YouTube, of course. Okay. Why does it create boxes like that? Doesn't do it for this top one. All right. Hmm. That is, we want smoke. Well, using that bitmap technique, I was able to get rid of those weird lines. I guess just the blob particle is funky. I spoke too soon, maybe. There is a little line here, but it looks a lot better. All right, I think we're back on the right track here. Let's go back to our reference here. So we're going to need more contrast. God, those boxes. What on earth? Well, that's a bit extreme. Let's see. For the P emitter, I'm going to decrease the velocity a little bit. That does not really. It's looking a lot more like smoke. I'd like it to stay poofier up the top. So maybe... No. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Need to make that size variance less. We're getting there. Well, I want it to look boofier, but that also decreases the amount of detail, so Size to velocity. You know, that actually really helps a lot. Back to the edit page. I'll create a new compound clip out of this. Render it in place. Just so we can see what that looks like in real time. Okay, so I might increase that size to velocity bit a little. And then I might I'm going to increase that size to velocity bit just a little. And then what I'll do is gonna see if I can get some resistance, because right now it looks like the smoke is going up a little too intense. I think it's rising too fast. So let's give it a little bit of Z rotation. Never mind. Let's not do that. Let's forget about that. Let me just knock down the velocity to 0.25. Increase the velocity variance, maybe, or lower it a bit. I'm gonna render it in place again. Now, it was brought up to my attention during the last stream that render in place actually does not work on a lot of. It's a new DaVinci Resolve 17 feature, and it doesn't work for a lot of people unless you make a compound clip out of your Fusion composition first, or your any clip on the timeline first. So keep that in mind if you right click a clip on the edit page and go to render in place and nothing happens. That's what you need to do in order for it to work. Okay, so that's looking better. I'm pretty happy with this. I think, though, we need to decrease, oops. We need to decrease the velocity even more. Like it's going, it's too intense. Maybe decrease the lifespan variance. Increase the lifespan a bit so it lasts longer, and then decrease the velocity. Seriously, particles are just all about messing with the settings until something works for real. That is all it is. So I'm going to create a new compound clip again as my workaround. Right click, render in place, go Pro Cineform, and render it out. It's actually pretty good. It does 17, 18 FPS to render it out. I'm running on an RTX 2070 Super graphics card. Something weird is going on here. I like the speed better. It's more convincing to me. But how these particles appear at the bottom now, it's like they appear too suddenly, or it's too sparse. So turn that back into a Fusion clip. And what I have to do is increase the size of the beginning of the life. Put it at the midway point there. Kind of smooth out the curve again. Forgot to do this earlier. Very good. Maybe increase that size to velocity again. And I might go back to colors and make the bottom just a bit darker. there's like this gap. I don't know. I suppose it looks pretty natural. I might make that dark bit just a bit lighter again. Okay. I don't know, something seems off with it still. At this point though, I'd like to introduce some vortex. I think that'll help our cause here. So I'm going to go into the Merge 3D and select the vortex. I'm actually going to pull up both of these here. I'm going to pull up the merge so I can preview what the final smoke's going to look like. And then this vortex here. I want it to impact more so the top of the smoke. But I want it to be smaller, so it's more of a subtle effect. If you don't know how P-vortex works, by default it kind of repels whatever is next to it. So you'll see the smoke particles we have here kind of get repelled one way or the other as I move the vortex. If I increase the power, it kind of forces these particles around the vortex and ultimately would make them, I mean, you can get some really cool effects with this pretty simply. See, it just goes over the top And the strength is, you know, the intensity at which that happens, where the power is the effect of the sphere here. Let's see what we can do with this to give a more natural look to our smoke. I think I do have to bring it further down. Increase the strength, increase the power a bit, decrease the size, pretty small, then move it closer. Well, that did not really do much. Let's see, 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, 0.75, maybe just one. Let's see what, so without, with, it's still a bit. Let's see, without, with, well, that's barely doing anything now. That's pretty good, actually, what I just got there. Let's take a look at our reference image. It's really do think we need to decrease the size of the emitter. Let's see how this looks. I suspect it's going to be weird near the bottom. Yeah, we really don't want it to be too small in the beginning, because then get that weird effect. So this is the base color, and then we've got color over life. Interesting. I think with a cube we get more controls over the emitter. Of course, I'm gonna have to adjust the location of it now. It's getting a bit closer to our reference here. Hey, that's cool. No judgment here. But I really don't know. It still kind of appears oddly. Drag the emitter back down. Oh ho ho! I see what you did there. I mean, it's cool if you were gay in the other way too. I mean, no big deal either way. What do we do here? It's kind of looking like smoke. You bump up the detail a bit. And the contrast, oh no, less contrast maybe. Gonna add another fast noise node and mask our final result here. I not quite sure that I want to do that because I don't want to bake anything in after the fact. It'd be nice to include everything with the particle effects. Let me set aside the P vortex for now. Oh, it's not looking bad, actually. Gotta increase that size for velocity. Maybe move it up just a bit more. I think we got some pretty decent looking smoke here. I'm gonna make some modifications to this. And really fine tune this, and I will release this in a future video once I have all the kinks worked out. But I think this is a really good start, and I think this is also a good point to end the live stream. It's I think we made some good progress today on this smoke particle, learned a few things about how to incorporate fast noise with a brightness contrast node and feed it into the particle emitter and use it as a bitmap mask for it. Give this effect. You know, just learn the basics of how to run through these particle nodes, how to affect it with this P vortex. So once I find a finite way to incorporate all this into a structured tutorial, I'll put that together and release it as a video. But until then, thank you everyone for watching the live stream number 2. And we will be back next week, Sunday night at 7, unless some scheduling changes, but Sunday night for certain. Next week we'll be back here at the same time streaming and talking Fusion, and I'll be here to answer any questions you have about Resolve or the channel or anything else. You can find me on Twitter, Sword Shield Stew, STU, or find me on the YouTube channel here. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.